Hello there. Thanks a lot for coming by PosterCentral.com's video blog today. I'm Pete Howard. And from the summer of 1964, boy, the very height of Beatlemania. For heaven's sake, the movie A Hard Day's Night had been out for just a few weeks, and the boys had embarked on their biggest tour of North America of the 3 times they would come to visit. And this is from the 8th city on that stop, Forest Hills, New York. If you know your New England area, you know that's not actually on the island of Manhattan, but it served the island of Manhattan by being located at the western end of Long Island. And here they played a Friday and a Saturday night. Definite sellouts, could have sold out the arena many times over. For heaven's sake, the boys had 6 songs in Billboard magazine's Hot 100 this very week. Half a dozen even, wow. So I've got the ticket stub and program to share with you. Of the 2 nights, Friday and Saturday night, I've got the one here from Friday night, August 28th, which, boy, was this ever an eventful and historic night and day in Beatles history. I mean, they arrived in town at about 3 o'clock this morning, and despite that middle-of-the-night hour, 2,000 to 3,000 fans greeted them at the airport screaming. Can you believe that? Might as well have been 3 p.m., but it was 3 a.m. Then the boys held a press conference at their Delmonico Hotel in Manhattan that day. Then they flew to the arena by helicopter. A lot of first-hand accounts have the fans, seeing them come in by helicopter and screaming and everything. Needless to say, pretty unprecedented in pop music history. And then they gave their show to 16,000 screaming fans, protected by an 8-foot fence topped with barbed wire. Boy. And then, that night after the show, yep, this is the night. Ooh, boy, what a legend this is. None other than Bob Dylan met them back at their hotel and turned them on to marijuana. Now, I could embellish that story quite a bit or, give spin on it and everything, but actually a great first-hand account, if you have any doubt whatsoever about the veracity of that story, is given nicely by Peter Brown in his book, The Love You Make. And it's just really, it can even be found online, the excerpt about this incident. But boy, how's that for a day in Beatles history given all of those elements? So as you can see, what you have here is a pretty simple white ticket stub. Sort of belies the cultural impact of this day in Beatles history. And there's no sense reading every word on there to you. It does say Portal 9 instead of Section 9, but it was a tennis stadium, so it was outfitted for sports. And it's got $5.95 on there with staple holes through that, most likely how it was sold. 2 tickets stapled together and sent through the mail. Then as you can see, it does say Forest Hills Music Festival, but that's sort of, a matter of semantics because it's not like it was the Woodstock Festival with a lot of artists on one weekend. Forest Hills was giving a summer festival with 6 weekends in the months of July and August, and the Beatles were the last act. Matter of fact, a good way to illustrate this point, this festival aspect, they made a cardboard concert poster, and here's an image of that concert poster from the Forest Hills Summer 1964 Music Festival. And as you can see there in the yellow flag, you can see the acts, which ranged from everybody from Barbra Streisand, pretty new artist herself at that point, to Woody Allen as an opening act, and Joan Baez and easy listening artists and so forth. And even a picture, or a rendition if you will, of the tennis stadium. So back to the ticket here. I don't know how fuzzy it will get if I get in too close, but it's always worth a try, but forgive me if it fuzzes out a little bit. But here's a detail I bet you didn't know that's incredibly unimportant. National Ticket Company of Shamokin, Pennsylvania. Let's just test the wherewithal of my video system, shall we? There we go. Let's see how that baby holds up. Looks pretty good in the viewfinder. Let's hope for the best. And at the bottom there, you can see the S in Beatles in the black stripe. Okay, so now for the program. They did make a program, not just for the Beatles, but for the entire stand. And this is it for the entire 2 months worth of concerts. And I'm going to quickly run through and show you all the pages that have Beatles content on here. Well, the first page when you open up the program is a shoe company having a contest to win free Beatles tickets. Then you've got a welcome letter from the series producer that doesn't mention the Beatles, but it shows a photo of the box office with fans outside. There's a picture of Paul being held by a fan, but more importantly, their beautiful second album promo poster from Capitol is clearly visible. And then on the next page, there's a little better photo of that huge promo poster at the box office. Now this is where things get tricky, but the most interesting. You've got this stapled insert in the center spread of the program, and first of all you have this 4-page, smaller-sized ad for Field Brothers men's clothing. And then take a look at this underneath the Field Brothers ad, but held in place by the same staple at the top, so this is the best I can do, is a different-sized Beatles ad from the Alexander's department store chain, giving the MCs names and the warm-up entertainment. That would be the WMCA Good Guys, Murray the K, and the Stan Rubin Orchestra. I can come in a little closer on that. And a special on all Beatles Capitol albums from Alexander's chain. Look at that, isn't that nice? Interestingly, it shows Meet the Beatles 3 times. Sort of makes me wonder, you know, hey, where's the second album and something new? And then you've got this key line down there in the ad that's amazing. It says, clip this ad and bring it with you to get a 20% discount. Well, wow. You know, this insert is already hanging by a thread, and I'm sure a lot of people just yanked it out as an advertisement. And a lot of fans, though, took it out, folded it up, and put it in their pocket to maybe get a savings on the records. And so there aren't a lot of programs with this insert intact. This program, by the way, does not have page numbers, so I can't reference that. But here's one from an ad from Sunset Appliance Stores with 6 locations, and it does say at the top, as you can see, free, see the Beatles with the purchase of any air conditioner, TV, or major appliance, except for fair trade items. So, interestingly, it does say Saturday, August 29 or Sunday, August 30th, and that was the date they had in Atlantic City, New Jersey. So they were really looking ahead with this ad. And you might say to yourself, well, you know, the program has got to the first Beatles show, but actually this goes back to the Streisand show leading up to the final weekend with the Beatles. So the ad makes a lot of sense. Then you've got this beautiful 6-page Beatles spread. These are the first 2 pages. You've got a story on the left and an ad on the right for Beatles shirts and hats. And believe it or not, sweatshirts, so they have the Dezo Hoffman photo on there, that famous photo. Believe it or not, just $4 each with postage paid. And don't forget, in these days, the Beatles were just getting a 10% cut of the action. Then the second 2 pages of that 6-page spread, as you can see, has a lovely Capitol Records ad, sort of using the Beatles' second album graphics there, or photo set, and listing 3 singles, 3 albums, and an EP. How fun is that? And then on the facing page, you do have bios of John and George. And the last 2 pages of this 6-page spread at the rear of the program has bios of Paul and Ringo, as you can see, and an ad for the beloved Hard Day's Night original soundtrack on United Artists Records. By the way, it shows the mono cover. And then finally in this program, you've got a full-page ad for the Hard Day's Night movie, nicely listing a dozen songs. Take a look at that. I really like that feature about that. That's nice. Starting August 12th at a theater near you, which, remember, was still a month away for the Streisand weekend, but of course had already opened by the time the Beatles weekend started. So, boy, there you have it. The Beatles at Forest Hills in 1964, Friday and Saturday night. Wonderful concert experience right at the height of Beatlemania. Thanks a lot for dropping by. See you again for something soon. Bye-bye.